Travis Kelce until March 14th to make a decision on his future. He has won 3 Super Bowls and spent all 12 seasons in KC. So, Nick, you think your guy has another year in?
I do.
You do?
And I think he's going to come back. I also think that, obviously, listen, free agency opens March 10th. He is due $12 million March 14th. They would like to know by then. They also, I am very confident, are not putting a hard deadline on Travis Kelce. I think it's a soft deadline. I don't think there's any situation where Travis like, I honestly don't know, and they're like, sorry, man, then we got to cut you. Like, that's not, I don't see any scenario where that happens. What I do think, one of the reasons I think he has another year in him is one of the things that happened this season with the injuries at receiver. Until the very end of the year, when Xavier Worthy really kind of got, wasn't really a rookie anymore, they had no one who could beat man-to-man coverage. So teams played man-to-man willingly, and everything was so short and intermediate. There was so much congestion where Travis makes all his money, essentially, at this point in his career. I think next year, with Rasheed back, with Xavier Worthy in year 2, maybe Hollywood comes back, maybe not, but whatever it is, they are going to have more of a vertical threat, which will open up the middle of the field more for Travis Kelce. And I just don't see him going out on the lowest moment of his career, which that game was. So I think he comes back for one more year, and I think he is effective in key spots for them, even though he obviously is at a totally different place of his career at this point.
Yeah, I definitely think he can play another year. I don't think he has an all-pro type year left in him, but he was 5th in receptions this year among tight ends with 97. So, and I agree. I think Rasheed, when he's back, will be the #1 option as far as the passing game. I would think Kelce will probably have more receptions than Xavier, but Xavier will be, for all intents and purposes, a bigger threat.
Yeah, of course.
So I think, and Travis, I think he's got some big moments left in him, possibly even in the playoffs. But with the attention, he's still a decoy. And he's going to help just by being out there because they'll pay so much attention to him. And then if you stop because he hasn't been that effective, then I think he can still be dangerous. So, yeah, if he wants to come back, I think he'll still have a good year.
Yeah, the 97 receptions, the big game against Houston. He didn't have a great Super Bowl. He didn't have a great AFC Championship game. But nobody offensively had a great Super Bowl. And to your point about him being a decoy, you still need to account for Travis Kelce, and you especially need to account for him on those broken plays. And what I'd say is when you're looking at tight ends, Travis Kelce at 80% of what we know of Travis Kelce is better than a majority of the tight ends in the NFL. So that component of it, from a team perspective, you do want to know whether or not he's going to play, because $12 million is significant in free agency, and I think it's a $17 million gain overall. Yep. But you are going to be more patient with a guy like that, and maybe he does walk away initially, but you leave the window open where come June, July, August, September, he decides, I want to play. Okay, he knows the system. He's got a great relationship with the quarterback. You may need a weapon at that point in the season. Maybe it's deeper into the season. And from Travis's perspective, if he is going to be all in, I think you maybe take a step back this offseason, like cut down your commitments. And I'm not saying that in a flippant way. I'm just saying, like, you did so much. So if you really want to do what's best for you and your body feels okay, maybe take some time away to really get your mind right.
I also think it was kind of the perfect storm of busyness for him. So they win the Super Bowl. As, his brother and his podcast really takes off and becomes this huge venture. And as Taylor is, finishing her world tour and he's going, so this offseason, they didn't win the Super Bowl. The podcast is kind of steadied where they're used to it. Taylor's not on this, world tour, and I think he's more likely to be able to have a quieter offseason than he did a year ago.
Yeah, but did the TV show get re-upped? I mean, he was on that show.
Grotesquerie? You know what? I'm not sure the production schedule of that one.
Okay, well, but I'm just saying, there's a TV show. Doesn't he also have a game show? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, which he should take advantage of all of it, but then find some space where you can, like, reload. So if this is going to be your final, if you do decide to come back, you're not sitting there a year from now going, why did I do that? You know, it has a terrible year. You know, now everybody's like, oh, you are already done.
I think he and Patrick are going to try to have one more ride together. I get no inside information, I promise.
Yeah, I'm balking at no inside.
No inside. Honestly, no inside information. I think he's coming back for one more year.
Coming up, Jerry and the Cowboys. First up is Mac McClung jumping over cars to win his third dunk contest. Brew, you okay with McClung winning?
Absolutely. He was great. Now, look, Stephon Castle, I want to give his props because he did a good job.
Yeah.
But this dude is nice. He said it was going to be his last one. I hope not. I hope he comes back again.
I thought, listen, jumping over the Kia and the sponsorship's cool and all. I thought the dunk that he tapped the front of the backboard, the front of the rim, was the craziest of all the dunks.
Yeah, they all were fantastic. Like he got 50s on every dunk, but
I hope the dude holding the ball got something.
Well, this
was better than when Blake did it.
I think one of them he was on one of those little things.
Oh yeah,
the hoverboard.
He was on the hoverboard and was spinning around.
And then dunked two of them.
This also, like, you saw it because he almost gets hung up on the rim a bit.
Yeah, he does.
This has real. We talk about, oh, guys don't want to compete in the All-Star game because they're worried about injury. This had real. Now I understand this is basically what he does for a living now. It's like he gets most of his income from the dunk contest. But that was a risky dunk.
No,
to serve. Cowboys are coming off a disappointing 7-10 season, and the star Michael Parsons wants them to be aggressive this offseason. So, Brew, Jerry Jones said it last year about the whole going all-in thing. Do you officially think they're going in? All in?
No. I don't think Jerry knows what all in means because he went all in last year and they did nothing.
Definition of
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, Brian Schottenheimer, this is no shot against Brian Schottenheimer. He may end up being a really good coach. But I think it was a ho-hum signing. You know, they didn't even do like an extensive coaching search. So I think that speaks to it's going to be business as usual for the Cowboys. We got a coach that we think is solid. He's not going to, ruffle any feathers with Jerry. It's going to be kind of some stuff. Right, in-house guy. And so I don't think they're, going to go out there and make any noise on the free agent market. They haven't done that in about 10 years. The
last big-time signing was my dear friend from Kansas City, Brandon Carr. They signed him to...
That was more than 10 years
ago. Yeah, I was still doing radio in Kansas City. So it was free agency of 2012. They signed Brandon Carr to 5 years, $50 million. Go ahead.
Wasn't Greg Hardy?
Greg Hardy, not a ton of money, though. It's not like they brought in Greg Hardy. And listen, they brought in Brandon Cooks. But as far as like a day one of free agency,
well, they usually
going out we're going out and signing a ton of money.
Second wave of free agents and stuff. Yeah. So no, I think Jerry knows that I have a good team that can compete, compete enough to keep us in the playoff hunt, keep our fans filling the stadium, and keep us on television as far as talk shows like this. I think that's what Jerry's goal is. Even though he talks about Super Bowls, he wants to make money.
Yeah, look, I don't mind the Brian Schottenheimer hire. To me, Brian has a chance to be just as good as any of these other first-year head coaches. I've known Brian for a long time. He was my offensive coordinator at the Jets. I hired him from the Chargers when he was there. And he's smart. He's got a great pedigree. His father Marty was an outstanding coach for a long time. So I think that you can make an argument that matches anybody else. Okay, and then the bringing in Matt Eberflus, and Matt's been a very good defensive coordinator in the league.
I like that one.
And I think he simplifies the defense in a way similar to the way that they had before, where the guys can really play fast. And I liked what they did last year, but there's a lot of thinking, and that takes time for it to be really effective. So there's that. But from Micah's standpoint of going all in, he says that. But how can they? They're minus $2.8 million on the cap, so they're over the cap by $2.8 million. Micah wants to get paid. Right. Okay, well you're not even a free agent, so if we pay you, we have less money. There's 25 free agents on the roster. You got to fill those holes. Yeah, they've got 10 draft picks, but only 3 of them are in the first 3 rounds. The rest of them are 5th, 6th, and 7th.